A flicker. Okay, so I guess you just have to learn to live with a flicker. No, it's not. It is. Okay. Hey, and welcome to Glue Monday. Okay, I've still got a flicker. I actually went. I got. I like to tell people almost like doing outtakes. I went off and came back on because there was a flicker, and I thought maybe it was a bad connection, but I'm still seeing a flicker. So I hope you are, and I hope you are definitely seeing a flow instead of a flicker. But welcome to Glue Monday. Glue Monday is an extension of what was originally Glue Wednesday. Hey, what's up, Vic? And now you're the first one on. Vic, my thing was clicking, so I said, let me go back and see if I could get a better connection. Doesn't necessarily look like a better connection, but at least I see your name in the thread, so that's going to be just fine. So today, I'm going to continue to do what I call put my foot on the gas, and the gas is the GAS glue. Oh, you're good? Okay. The glue alphabet series. And the alphabet series is where every message, because now I'm doing glue Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so every time I will do a different letter of the alphabet where my message will be focused on a different letter of the alphabet. Now, somebody who's on the, well, you say that all the time, Sporty. Well, you know what? Thank God, and for blessings like you, I get new viewers every time, and so it's interesting and it's important for me and us, especially at a time right now like now, to repeat the rules. That's one of the things that people tend to decide that they're getting tired of right now in their homes and situation. They may say, "Well, I'm hearing the same thing over and over from their family members." No, no, no. This is how you think about it. When you were a child, how did you learn not to touch the stove? You had to hear hot over and over again. Hot, 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 right? You thought you were at the Jamaican Film Fest, right? Feeling hot, hot, hot. Okay, no, all right. So, we learn through repetition. We've been socialized to do so. So let's train our minds and decide to slow down and continue to listen and share with our teacher. What's up, Gerald? Okay, I'm gonna do some quick shout outs that I see over there. What's up, Gerald? Yeah, man, long time. Great to see you. Hey, Pat, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey, what's up, Tony? All right. Okay, yeah. So that's why I always re-explain the rules at the beginning, because what that does, ladies and gentlemen, rules. First of all, by the way, P.S. Rules are made to be broken. I say rules are made for the masses. I was made for the master, and rules are made to be broken. But rules, you can't break a rule if you don't know what the rule is. So, but rules give us guidelines that put us in position to see how we can put our unique twist on something. So, oh, here's how it's done. I got it. Well, here's how I see it can be done. So it's important to have rules. Don't get sick and tired of the people around you who are repeating what's going on, and what they're going through, because sometimes we're not even aware of it, and it's a tough choice between deciding, well, have I heard that before or did you not tell me? So today, as I put my foot on the gas, the GAS, the Glue Alphabet Series, and I'm focusing on the different letter each message. My letter today is the letter L, and your L words are Liberate and Leah. My feature poem will be Mother, as you see it, like a definition in a dictionary, and my message will be learning to live with loss. Learning to live with loss. Now, if you'd like to get a word in the next message, and I always say this at the beginning so that you have time to do it while we're having the broadcast, then the next message will be dedicated to the letter M. So if you want a message, a word that begins with the letter M, just put that in the feed, in the thread, and then I can work that word into the message on Friday. Okay, so if you want a word, think of a word that begins with the letter M, just put it in the thread and I'll work it in. Meanwhile, if you like a copy, I always do a featured poem. If you like a copy of the featured poem, you don't put your email in the thread. You actually send me an email request to unclesporty at gmail.com. And that's in the thread. That's in the instructions as well. And what that will do is allow me to just quickly click on reply and send it back to you, especially if you're not in my email list already. It'll connect us, and you may have a firewall or some type of security that won't allow my email to come through unless, what securities do sometimes is if they recognize that you sent something to somebody and they're responding to you, they'll let it through. You got to learn technology right now, ladies and gentlemen. Again, that's why I repeat that. You may say, well, I knew that, but you know what? Someone didn't know it. And there's another thing that we have to focus on. Someone doesn't know. So let's stop taking everything for granted and deciding that someone's getting on our nerve based on something that they need to learn. Once you shut somebody out from asking you a question, they will decide not to ask you a question that they really needed you to open up and give them the answer to. So let's move on. Okay. In January, so our lesson is today is learning to live with loss. In January 2007, my mother died. Her name is Mary Louise King. And I see that there's a quick change right there. I like to make sure people understand literacy. You notice I didn't say her name was Mary Louise King. Her name is. That's still her name. She's not alive, but that's still her name. Again, think about your vocabulary, how you say things and how you can say things, okay? But her name is Mary Louise King. But to our world, she was known as Leah. She's my L word today, and was truly one of the most liberating and liberated spirits most people who met her would ever meet. One of the fun memories I have of her is her sense of humor and how she was part of the pair, P-A-I-R, her and my father, Ricky, who most influenced my entrepreneurial path and who were the two biggest influences in my life. So as we approach Mother's Day, I decided I'll open with the poem that I dedicated to her. And it's called Mother. And the title looks like the way you'd find it again in a dictionary. Here's why. Yesterday, someone tried to define you. I laughed and told them that you are unique. I explained that you are at your strongest whenever you seem to be weak. And that though you are my mother, you are somebody's sister and friend. You put on new hats spontaneously. You work magic again and again. I help them understand that your wisdom is pure, that your touch is comforting, that your voice is soothing. Oh, I went on and on. I hope you don't mind. See, I'll always be your biggest fan, for you'll always be one of a kind. Mother. All right? For those of you who've lost your mother, father, or any loved one, I offer my advice on how to get over the loss. Don't. What God has now given you is a different set of instructions on how you're to live with the loss. And one of the laughing memories I'm going to share with you right now is the tribute that I read at Leah's funeral. And if you think about it, if you notice it, funeral is spelled Funeral. Fun. So I read this tribute to make it a funeral. We had fun at my mother's tribute. You see, life is always about how you look at it. We always hear people who like to talk about that cliche about how people should cry when you're born into this world and celebrate when you leave. And then at the funeral, everybody's boo-hooing and feeling terrible. Oh, gone too soon. Whoa, I'm going to do it out. And I'm not mocking you, but I'm saying, think about what we say and recognize that when we say it, we're actually so right. You cry when people are born into nonsense, but then you celebrate when they leave because you think about the joy that they brought into your life and how they lived out their full life. And you say, wow. Start thinking about some of the fun things that you did and you experienced with that person. That's why I say, don't plan to get over the loss of a loved one. I have no intention of getting over the loss of my mother. What I do is learn to live with it. And then when I have those moments where she comes to mind, I stop and appreciate them. If I tear up, so what? Didn't God give me the gift of being able to cry? Aren't tears a part of your natural being? Your tear ducts clear? Somebody give my healthcare professionals to know how important it is to have your tear ducts able to water. So that makes a difference, okay? But one of the laughing memories that I'm going to share with you right now is the tribute I read at her funeral and made it a funeral. Okay? I prefaced it by getting everyone to agree that, that there were words in Leah's vocabulary that would not be appropriate for saying out loud in a church. And everybody agreed. And that when I got to that part of my tribute, I just signaled with a wave of my hand, and they would all say bleep to fill in those blanks. So, will it work online? Well, guess who's getting ready to find out? Because when I get to that part, I'm going to do this, and I just want you to say bleep. You can whisper it to your screen, so you don't have to seem like you crazy to a whole bunch of people around you. But yeah, when I do this, say bleep, and I'll signal you because I'm going to actually read you the tribute as I read it that day. So you don't have to get ready right now. It's not in the first paragraph, okay? So it'll come, and I'll see how it works out with us, okay? And then you can end up telling me about it at the thread. Let's go have a ball, okay? My first memory of Leah was the afternoon she brought me home from the hospital after I was born. For those of you who don't know, Zetine was born 10 months after me. Planned Parenthood wasn't a term yet back then. But Ricky and Leah were very forward thinking. They sat in the living room and talked about how well they had done in giving life to me. Then Ricky said something about how they needed to hurry and try to have another baby just like me. And I know we're all here because Leah said, because we said that Leah was such a strong and wise woman and all that. But do you know that she fell for that line? They threw me in the crib and proceeded to work on having Zetine. And they did a good job. They ended up with a female me. But Leah didn't stop there. It took some years of Leah going it alone to make us happy. But there were 2 boys and 1 girl. And Warren, me, and Zet wanted another sister. But Planned Parenthood was still not a term yet. Enter Moncel into her life. And the 4 little brothers we kept expecting to come out, Leah promised us, as little sisters. Landy, Philip, Vonnie, and Travis. Now, before you think I miscounted, when Leah got pregnant again, she told Zet, "This is the last try. If this one doesn't come out a girl, you'll name him and be his godfather." Zet's godson, Hassan, turned 36 on January 9th. I stood there as he did what each of us had done more than once in our lives. He thanked her for giving life to him 36 years ago. Now, I've done that too, but I created a little different ritual. I was born at 1 o'clock in the morning. So every year I would call at 1 o'clock in the morning and say, "Mrs. King, you've just given birth to a baby boy." No matter how asleep she was, she managed to say, "Child, you are sick," and wish me a happy. Never once did she tell me what I found out 2 years ago, that I was born at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, I don't know where I got the 1 o'clock a.m. from, other than not reading my birth certificate. But time is what we all make the most of, and what Leah was able to find and give to everyone in this building tonight. So I need you to help me on this segment as I call on the spirit of Leah. I need you to help me bleep out some of the parts. So when I point to you, just say bleep. There were times where she told you how important you are and to go get your life together, and times where she said your bleep was a fool and to get your together. Times where she told you to stand up for your rights, and times where she told you to sit your down and mind your business. There were times where she recognized you as the gift and blessing you are, and times where she asked, who the do you think you're supposed to be? All the while reminding you that her mother didn't raise no fool, and you can. Why? Oh, okay. Because if you think you've got another thought coming, sweetheart. Still, one of the most important things she'd say is something my niece Brianna reminded me of last night. Leah always took the time to say, bless you. So my final memory of Leah for this moment will be one I know she looks at. I know how she looks at death. Death. She's a diva in experiencing ample time in heaven. We love you, Leah, and bless you. And you would be surprised how easily everybody caught on to the bleep, because everybody, we had before the ceremony, we had people come up, say a couple of words, and just about everybody who came up started out with some version of, "I'm gonna miss Mama King cursing me out," or "Mama King sure used to curse you out," and then but all of them ended up with, "But then she get you help you with a plate of food, help you find a job, tell you to get your bleep together." So everybody, as much as I at first thought that it was going to be a challenge where people like, how could you make it be having fun at the funeral? Everybody caught on to the bleep. And let me tell y'all, we had like 500-600 people, and they were talking about it like they had just come from a party, telling people, y'all should have been there. And so those of you who were there, you know it. So y'all just go on in the type and just write bleep, because wasn't that a great memory? All right. But thus, today's memory is also brought to you by my t-shirt. That my L is bleep. BLE. Okay, let me show you the t-shirt. There it is. Bleep. Believing Leah's enjoying eternal peace. Believing Leah's enjoying eternal peace. So my L word is bleep, and I definitely dedicate it to my mother. But I chose this message because there are people who are losing loved ones right now to the virus as well as to other causes. And they're stuck in terms of how to celebrate them because their options have been changed. I'm not changing course on you. I actually enjoy delivering a positive message, but what I enjoy more is that its positivity does not ignore that there are hardships going on all around me and in other people's lives. I enjoy that I get to show how to overshadow the pain. I don't need you to laugh for these 30 minutes or so and then click off and say, damn, now back to all this BS around me. I don't need you to do that. I need you to click off and say, wow, I was able to put this BS aside for 30 minutes by thinking about something real that has gone on in my life. Maybe I can find ways to do another 30 or another 15. See, use the broadcast to put it into your life and find out, because right now we're like they say, take it back from the devil. I'm not giving the devil my control of my life. If I'm having a challenge in my life, every challenge in my life, y'all, comes from God. None of I don't give the devil credit for anything. If we really think about it, if we look at the Bible, we meet the devil in two main spots. We meet him in the Garden of Eden, where he's hissing his message to Eve, but we really get to know him in Job. Because in Job is where now we see him having a conversation with God. And what's one of the first things we find out about the devil, about Satan, is that he's an angel. He's not God's equal. He reports to God. He and all of the angels are reporting in, and God says, where have you been? God is doing a roll call. Sporty, present. Satan, present. Well, Satan, where you been? And Satan says, oh, I've been to and fro. He's having a conversation. He don't say, don't ask me my business. I'm Satan. He says, oh God, this is what I've been doing. I'm reporting in. And he's saying, I've been out there trying to get people caught up in the BS. Like right now, we're looking at the headlines and we're missing the subtitles. See, the headlines say COVID-19 is killing people, but the subtitles say scientists and doctors are getting closer every day. They may not say it, but you know that that's what they're doing. You've got to find the subtitles in life to keep your spirit going. So back to Job. So now, while he says, I'm out trying to catch people and get them caught up in the headlines so that they can give up on their faith, God says, well, had you considered my servant Job? And in this modern day, he said, have you considered my servant Sporty? See, I'm going to stay positive. And so even as the devil and Satan, whoever wants to come at me and says, oh man, you need to give up on this positive nonsense. This is the end of the world. I laugh. And he spends all that time trying to get me. And while he's trying to get me, he is missing out on getting somebody on my broadcast who may be on the brink of giving up. And so while he's trying to get a 2-for-1, it's giving you more time to get stronger. See, I understand that that's where my place is. I understand that that's why I get to be a messenger. And that's why you get to be a messenger, because somebody else is not giving up because they have you in their life. And they need to see you continue to push through and not give up. So then the devil goes on to say, well, you know what, Sporty would, wouldn't be so positive if you allow me to do this. And then God says, okay, go on and do that. But you can't do this. Did you know, check out the Bible. This is not me making this up. Every time he gives the devil permission, he's giving him permission. Remember, I said they're not equals. He gives him permission to do something to Job, and then he puts an asterisk. He gives him limitations. He says, you can do this, but you can't do that. Now, if they were equals, think about it. If they were equals, couldn't Satan say, I don't care what God told me I can't do. I'm going to do what he said, and I'm going to do what the heck I want to do because I'm the devil. I run this. No, he's like, oh, man, God said, stop. He stops at the border. I can't do that. And he goes back and he says, see, if you'd have let me do that, I could have, but you didn't let me. And then God says, okay, I'll let you do that, but you can't do this. Okay, revolving. And that's what goes on. So that's why I don't give the devil credit for anything that goes on in my life. My challenges are all from God because my life is all in God. That's why I created Glue, Glue. God's love undoes everything. Every trial and tribulation that I have gone through, there's 2 operative words there, gone and through. I did it. Now, first of all, through is a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you say, I'm going through something, you're saying, I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out on the other end. And then when you do, now gone is the other word that goes into your vocabulary. I did it. And now I have to give myself credit. Y'all know what's about to come, right? Trust your track record. Laugh at your lack record. So remember, just say to yourself, I can find ways to do that 30 minutes at a time, to just, put the BS aside and think about something real that's going on in my life and think about how I've gone through something in the past. I can do that for another 30 minutes. Let me schedule 15 minutes to do it. Right now I'm stressed out. Let me just chill out for 10 minutes. It's a lot of good conversations that we can have with ourselves because we've been having those conversations before. Now, the other letter that's on our word today is my friend Ramona Hopkins volunteered the word liberated. Now, she's an educator in Bolingbrook, Illinois, which is where I lived when I started out living in Chicago. That was the first suburb that I lived in. And she is using this series to create an alphabetical list of words. She calls it words and thoughts during this COVID-19 pandemic, which she can then share with family, friends, and students that she meets as a guest teacher. See, she's using this already. That's, get your creativity. How can you use me? Bill Withers, keep on using me until you use me up. Old school, you just hollered. Young school, you just went to Google and search for Bill Withers. Okay, but or go to YouTube. But we have to use one another. In fact, I did a post today that says poor, Poor, powerless outside of our resources. Yet when we use one another properly, we become boundless. See, we have to be used. You are here to be used. You're not here to be abused, but you're here to be used. And if you use people properly, if you use the resources in your life properly, there are boundless opportunities for you to go forward and be successful. So that's what Ramona is doing, and that's why I give her a shout out. It's my first time giving her a shout out, but it's just I appreciate her for how she showed me how my gift can be a benefit to someone else. Now, what does that do? That lifts my gift up. That picks my spirit up. See, that's what we do. We've heard the term each one teach one. So, so that's what you can do. Your gift is going to be taken and someone's going to, remember rules were made to be broken and exchanged or adjusted. Someone's going to take your gift, the rule, and turn and say, here's how I want to use that. That's his or her gift, but here's how I can use it. And that's how we do it. See, so it's not a bad thing when we say rules are made to be broken. But here's the sentence that Ramona's using in her journal based on the word liberated. We are all hoping to be soon liberated from our quarantine state of living. As our rules of quarantine are gradually lifted, we have to face a new reality that we are not really liberated because the rules of daily living have been forever changed. Like war, the enemy, COVID-19, is still with us. And although people want to be free of their quarantine state, we cannot fully unmask ourselves and ignore the science behind this pandemic. And did you hear how creative we cannot fully unmask ourselves, take them in. See, that's an opportunity to be creative. And so I applaud her. And I bring that up for an alternate reason. This is one of our teachers, y'all. When y'all say pray for our teachers, this is the creativity that our teachers have. So a lot of people want to talk, oh, these damn teachers, this and that. No, this is what they are doing. They are happy to be creative and help nurture our children. But they need those shackles taken off of them so that they can be the blessing they are to the children. So parents, have a little bit more compassion. I think right now a lot of parents are seeing their teachers in a different light. In fact, one of my friends, Chastity Kaspari, she posted something on Instagram last week that said, dear teachers, when the kids come back, please. And then she did some bleeping. She said, please help them ease back into the system by saying, get your bleep together. Bleep, so it was hilarious. But yeah, thank you, teachers. Thank you and bless you for what you do. And all of us have a teacher that we can bless in our past. Because I know I wasn't a model kid. I wasn't a teacher's pet. I wasn't a model student. I was a handful, and I've got a lot of teachers that I thank for what they did to get through this with me. But remember, we're all going through this, yet each with different battle scars. Who can you lift up today so that you'll feel the joy of being lifted up when it's your turn? Remember, you're not stuck in the house. You're safe in the house. You're not bored in the house. You're on board with how you now have to use your house to your family's best advantage. You're not going crazy. You were already crazy. You just now have to get the hang of it's manifesting itself through this COVID virus. You were always crazy. I say that to people all the time. They say, Sporty, you crazy. I said, no, you're not crazy. I said, no, I'm crazy. But this just ain't one of the examples. So you were always crazy, y'all. Come on, let's have a good time. You're not going to lose. You're going to learn what you knew all along. And that is glue, Glue, that God's love undoes everything. Have a marvelous Monday. And M is the next letter in our alphabet series for Wednesday. But meanwhile, next Monday, May 4th, I will not have a Glue Monday. because I will be doing a webinar called Navigating in the Now Normal. If you didn't get an invitation from me, it's because I don't have your email address. So there would be another reason if you requested a poem, I'd have your email address. But you can email me at unclesporty@gmail.com for that. Or meanwhile, just scroll down in the thread. You'll see the invitation for the webinar. It's on Zoom. We need to get comfortable with platforms such as this. This is what the future is all about. Guess what? The future is never coming. The future is always here. So it's not about the new normal. It's the now normal. The new normal is not coming. This is the now normal. We're here now. So on Monday, that's what I'll be doing, is giving a Zoom webinar called Navigating in the Now Normal. And I know some people in the thread have already registered, and I thank you and I bless you for that. So please come on, and it's free, y'all. So come on down, because once we get going, it ain't gonna be free. But come on down, and let me be a resource for you. And thank you for being one for me. And meanwhile, as we close this message out, remember, again, my advice to those who have experienced a loss: don't plan to get over it. Learn to live with it, because you've been doing that. And P.S. by the way, learning to live with it doesn't mean that you're always going to have good days. You're still going to cry. You're still going to feel sad. You're still going to feel the loss of that loved one. Go on and do that. And then each time, just try to make that time more and more controllable of your feelings. There's nothing wrong with feeling. Every emotion is legitimate. How we react to the emotion, what we do with it, is what can put it in a good or bad category. So you should feel afraid. You should feel lost. You should feel sad. You should feel excited. You should feel happy. All of these emotions are legitimate, and they are based on who we are. Stop beating yourself up, because every time you beat yourself up, you actually beat yourself down. So let's make sure that we start to lift ourselves up. Once you lift yourself up, you're going to lift someone else up, because you are somebody's messenger. There's an M. I thank you for allowing me to be your messenger today. And I want you to recognize, put a word with an M in the thread if you'd like to be worked into the message for next week, for this Wednesday. If you like a PDF copy of today's poem, or go back and listen to any of the poems that I read in the glue, and just email me your request to unclesporty@gmail.com. Stay safe, and remember, GLUE, God's love undoes everything. Thanks. Over and out. Ciao.